Good day, everyone. Now that we are done discussing chapter 3 and 4, let's move on to chapter 5, which is the trends and issues in teaching gifted and talented learners. So, it is always a question that can a learner be both gifted and has or have a disability? And the answer is of course yes, because di ba, as we all know that most of the gifted learners are has this extraordinary IQ with, and of course they have different skills in different fields. For example, may mga tao na autistic pero marunong sila mag-play ng piano. So, in that scenario itself, may disability sila, pero mayroon silang skills. So, in this chapter, malalaman natin kung paano i-examine ang mga characteristic ng mga gifted or talented learners na may mga disabilities. And of course, we will present an issue and how to cater their educational needs. So, gaya ng tanong kanina na can a learner be both gifted with a learning disability? And of course, the answer is yes. They are called gifted with learning disabilities. So, again, let's go back to the question na can a learner be both gifted and has disability? And of course, the answer is yes. They are called gifted with learning disabilities. Gifted with learning disabilities is suggests that intellectually gifted learners often have learning disabilities which is often hard to recognize. So, 'di ba, hindi agad natin ma-determine yung mga student na may mga hindi agad natin ma-determine yung mga student na may mga disability na meron ding mga skills. So, paano natin sila malalaman or paano natin ito makikita? So, as teachers, it is important for us to know their weaknesses and strengths because with knowing their strengths and weaknesses, we will be able to came up an idea to create an aid or a tool that can be used or a technique itself that can be used to teach the learners with disabilities. So, isa na sa mga example dito si Thomas Alva Edison. Isa siyang gifted na may learning disability. So, let's have a quick review about Thomas Alva Edison. So, he has a hearing difficulties in both ears as a child and nearly deaf as an adult. So, 'di ba? Sabi dito, meron daw siyang hearing disability or difficulty. So, meaning Thomas Alva has an impairment, hearing impairment. So, his disability did not discourage him and he often treated it as an asset that allowed him to concentrate on his experiments and research. So, sabi dito na hindi daw parang naging asset niya mismo yung pagiging bingi niya kasi 'di ba some of the people na pag nakakarinig sila ng something maingay sa paligid, hindi agad sila makakonsentrate. So, maybe this is the reason of Thomas Alva Edison na naging asset niya yung pagiging bingi. Kasi 'di ba, wala siyang naririnig sa paligid. So, that means he can concentrate doing his research and experiments. So, by the way, Thomas Alva Edison invented the light bulb. Yes. Okay, so kung meron tayong mga gifted with learning disabilities, meron din tayong gifted with autism. So, here, some characteristics of these learners include extreme ability to concentrate, poor social skills, and extraordinary visual talents. So, kung babasahin natin to yung description, they have parang nagagamit dito yung mga positive and negative words to describe the person with autism. sinasabi dito na mayroon silang poor social skills. So that means most of the autistic students are introvert. But they also have this ability to concentrate. So meaning, madali sila makakonsentrate sa mga bagay na ginagawa nila, and of course, they have this extraordinary visual talents. Meron din ako ipapakita ang tao sa inyo na mga sikat din na kilala na merong autism. Siya si Dr. Temple Grandin. Mary Temple Grandin was diagnosed with autism in 1915. She became a prominent author and speaker in both autism and animal behavior. Today, she is a professor of animal science at Colorado State University. So, diba, si Mary Temple Grandin is may autism, pero hindi yun naging hadlang para maging author siya or maging speaker itself. Tapos, of course, di ba, sinasabi din dito na professor siya sa isang university. Dito, yung mga tao na na-present ko kanina na sina Thomas Alva Edison at si Dr. Temple Grandin, hindi sila nakilala sa mga na-diagnose sa kanila kung ano yung mga sakit nila, kundi nakilala sila sa field nila mismo. Parang naging asset nila mismo yung mga disabilities nila. Now, let's move on to gifted with ADHD. Gifted with ADHD lag 2 to 3 years behind their age peers in social and emotional maturity. This mismatch their cognitive and social emotional development is a challenging consideration in guiding them to learn across the curriculum. So yung mga sinasabi dito na yung mga may ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is parang behind yung maturity nila sa same age nila. For example, may mga tao na for example, 18 years old. 18 years old na siya, pero yung kanyang immaturity sa social and emotional is something mas baba pa sa edad niya. Dahil dito sa immaturity na to, nagkakaroon sila ng difficulty of concentration, distractibility, and of course, madali silang makalimot or madaling mag-grab yung attention nila. For example, may ginagawa dito pero may narinig sila ganun or something, they are easily to be distract. Tapos sinasabi din dito sa book na yung mga bata daw na may ADHD, yung mga student na may ADHD, hindi sila yung student na nakaupo lang sa isang upuan, kundi kung saan-saan sila umuupo, tapos they have this also na difficulty in listening. So that means kung meron tayong mga students na may ADHD, it is important for us to have a clear instruction. Kung mas better, paulit-ulit natin itong i-instruct sa kanila para mag-sink in sa kanilang utak at para maka-follow sila ng instruction ni teacher. So according to Baum 1990 and Robinson 1999, meron daw mga guidelines na kailangang i-follow si teacher para maging effective yung educational program na may mga gifted or talented learners. Pinakauna dito is that give focus attention to developing the gift or talent in its own right. So, di ba, tayo mga teachers, it is important for us to help our students na i-showcase yung kanilang talent. Pero, hindi dapat natin sila pilitin, kundi dapat sila mismo yung mag-engage sa isang scenario. For example, kung may mga students tayo na marunong mag-drawing pero hindi sila nag-i-engage sa classroom kasi nahihiya sila, dapat hindi natin sila pilitin na gawin yun. Kaya dapat mag-provide tayo ng supportive environment. Dito napapasok si number 2. Provide supportive environment that values and appreciate individual abilities. So, di ba, we as a teacher, we are the mentors and we are the guides. So, it is important for us na sa loob ng classroom, maka-feel ng maka-feel ng safety yung mga students na sa loob mismo ng classroom. That means, it is important na magkaroon ng environment na inclusive para walang mabuli, walang masasaktan, at ganon. Para dapat sila maka-feel sila na belong sila sa classroom na to. Okay, third one. Teach students strategies that compensate for their learning problems as well as provide direct instruction in basic skills. So, as teachers, it is important for us to know our students' weaknesses and strengths because with knowing it, madali tayo came up ng idea kung how to solve their learning problems. For example, may mga student na hindi makapag-focus, like for example, yung mga may ADHD. Yun yung weakness nila. Pero dapat din nating alamin yung mga strengths. So, maybe because na itong student na to is introvert, hindi siya mahilig makipag-socialize. So, that means dahil maingay, hindi agad siya makapag-focus sa kanyang ginagawa. So, you as a teacher, it is important for you na i-address yon. So, pwede mo siyang ilagay doon sa likod para maging comfortable siya sa kanyang ginagawa or something, makapag-focus siya kasi hindi na masyadong maingay. So, with that, it is important na alamin talaga yung strengths and weaknesses ng mga students. Now, let's go to response to intervention. Response to intervention, it is a process used by education in helping learners who are struggling with either lesson or skill. So, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, di ba, si teacher, yung job niya is to know the strengths and weaknesses of his or her learners. So, by knowing their strengths and weaknesses, makakame up si teacher ng mga best solution para ma-address yung problems na yun. So, ito yung tinatawag na response to intervention. Kung ano ba yung dapat action ni teacher sa loob ng klase or dapat niyang i-implement sa loob ng classroom. So, this strategy is not only made for gifted learners, but to any learner that struggle in some way. So, gaya ng sinabi sa definition, hindi lang daw natatapos na yung response to intervention nagagamit sa mga learners na may mga disabilities, kundi para to sa lahat ng mga learners na nahihirapan din sa iba't ibang bagay sa loob ng classroom. Now, may ipapakita ko sa inyong RTI model or the response to intervention model. As you can see, na meron itong 3 tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Sa Tier 1, it is usually consists of quality or core instruction in the general education. Dito papasok lahat ng mga students na need i-cater yung mga needs, need ng mga guidance, ganon. Pero sa Tier 2, it is still part of general education system. So, it supports students with more focused instruction of their area of need. Hindi gaya ng Tier 1, yung Tier 2 daw is mas focus ito sa area of need ng mga students. For example, may mga students na nahihirapan magbasa. So, yung mga intervention dito papasok yung mga intervention na for reading. So, for example, nahirapan siya magbasa. Maybe because hindi siya mahilig sa reading material. So, ano pa ba yung mga other ways to help the student to read? So, may mga visuals, may mga auditory na mga type of interventions. Para sa Tier 3 naman, it is considered to be special education. Bakit? Bakit siya considered na special education? It is because na dito kasi papasok yung mga students na kung saan nahihirapan na sila pumunta sa other stage ng progression. For example, may mga students na behind na talaga sa kanilang kaedad ng 2 to 3 years, like gaya ng sinabi ko sa autism. Diba? Yung autism, may behind sila ng 2 to 3 years ng maturity and emotional. 'Di ba with that, parang nahirapan na yung student. So, using the RTI dito matutulungan yung mga students na may mga disabilities to come up or to at least assess their needs. And I guess that's all. Thank you for listening and goodbye.